You're welcome to the No Stand Zone podcast, the number one music podcast on the continent of Africa, around the world, anywhere in the world. Right here, we talk about all the happenings around the Nigerian music industry, Afrobeats, as you would call it. You get analysis here. You get no other place anywhere. No other podcast exists like this anywhere in the world, talking about this genre that we all love and admire, and we dance to, and we feel, and makes us happy, makes our soul elevate and feel good. You don't get that. You won't get the analysis you get here anywhere else, backed by years and years of covering the industry. Some dash here and there of music knowledge and experience as well. You're not getting it anywhere else. The No Stand Zone podcast. As always, my name is Tiae. Good to have you here. If you're a first-time listener, this week I don't have all the I'm not in the mood to kind of bash you. I'm just gonna say welcome. And what took you so long? You should give some money to whoever recommended this podcast to you, because they've added value to your life. You probably should also invest some financial value into their lives as well. To you who have been listening to this podcast long enough, let me say thank you for tuning in this week. It's always a pleasure to have you here. To the first time listeners, those who haven't and those who haven't or who don't know a lot about what happens in other places as well, like all the other social media platforms, please follow on YouTube. Is the No Stand Zone podcast with Tiae. Literally, before you type all of that out, it would come up with that. Please hit the subscribe button there, and also please like and share. It would help us get to many more people. Also on Twitter, you can follow at No Stand Pod on Twitter, at No Stand Pod. You can just follow me personally. I'm putting out lots of gems during the week, some things to just kind of wet the ground before I speak on the podcast about some of these things. You can follow me on Twitter as well as at Tiae Sound. That's Tiae Sound, Tiaesound on the Twitters, or what we call X. I'm gonna be calling it Twitter for forever and ever and ever and ever. So it's been an incredible week for me. I hope you had a great week as well. This week, a lot of not meditating, but I was thinking and renumerating, is that the word, on so many things this week that concerns this Afrobeat and what the future would look like. I was having conversations with a few people this past week, got me thinking, and I was like, well, I probably will share a few with you on the pod today. We'll see what the time looks like once I cover some of the basics today. We get to the new music. As always, we're going to talk about some mediocrity around that as well, that I want to shed a light on, and what I'm kind of catching right now in the wind when it comes to that. Also going to talk about hip-hop's influence on Afrobeats and how we're beginning to reach a point of diminishing return on that. All right. And also going to be talking about just generally songwriting in Afrobeats. And before you start, or you how do I put it? Before those thoughts start rolling, because this conversation has been had many times on the internet. And the thing with this kind of conversation is, when you're having music conversation with non-music people who are actually ignorant, and most of them are just stupid fans out there, they would create the narrative for their fans, right? They will twist for their favorite artists. They will twist the narrative, or twist what we know to be true, musically, just in favor of their favorite artist, right? So I'm going to be shedding light on that also later in the show for today, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's get to it real quick. Let's start with new music. And this week, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't have much for you this week, right? But I will start with my girl, who I think is the future of this industry. But on whether male or female, I think she is the future of this industry. Just talking about talented artists. I'm not talking about ones who are here to give you a hit or who are running after hits. One whose future is this is not even bright. Like there is so much to build on, so much to improve on. Not that it's bad at the moment, but it's so good at the moment. I'm looking at it. There's so much to improve on that it's just going to be so gigantic when what I'm kind of thinking a future can look like. And another 5 years from now, I think she can be a powerhouse in this industry. I'm talking about no other than Qing Madi. You know about how I feel about her on this space. Okay, so she released a new song this week, titled Goosebumps. Yeah, I think it's in anticipation of the new album, which I cannot even wait to hear that. I, for one, I wasn't of the opinion that any album should come this year from her, just because I don't want her to play to what usually plagues so many artists, the desire to put out music like real quick. Like I've mentioned it here about CKay and how I think that work of art shouldn't have come like in the same year basically as Mr. Money with the Vibes, right? And as much as I'm of the opinion that I don't think an album should come yet, they've made so many moves, or her team and her have made so many moves that have been spot on in the past year that I'm willing to give them a pass. Like I'm willing to say, I let me see what you've got, right? You guys, they haven't made a bad decision yet. And I would say, yeah, you can have that. Like, let's see what this album is going to, and that's why I haven't kind of criticized the decision to release a new album yet. It's been more of, you have just been hitting the nail on the head. Good moves after good moves, bucket after bucket, goals after goals. Like they're really making extraordinary good decisions that haven't been being made for a new artist in a really long time. Like really good moves here. Knowing that the artist is so talented, putting the artist out there to be featured on other people's music as well. Like it's not just where she's comfortable, right? It's like throwing her not necessarily in the sea, but throwing her in the lake, right? I mean, she's been on with DJ Neptune, DJ James, or D James, like I was corrected this week. That's probably how to pronounce his name, D James, and she has hit the ball out of the park every single time. This lady is incredibly talented. That at this point, I'm like, whatever the team decides to do with this album, I'm like, yeah, just bring it on at this point. I want to believe you guys know what you're doing. And hopefully she's got something that's really, really good coming up on this project. Now, as for this new single, it doesn't give me, of course, the kind of chills that I've had from her, her previous singles in the past, right? I'm talking about like listening to a song like Vision, for example. It hasn't given me that kind of chill I get from any of the songs she has released in the past. I'm trying to see. Yeah, it didn't give me the chills that I heard when I heard See Finish. Like, of course, like that is just a ridiculous bar that I would not put on her. I mean, she had this song with 1010, Problem Choke. My goodness. She is the most promising new artist out there today. Like there is no one that comes close right now to me. Anyone that has got an album or project out, new artist, nobody even comes close as to just the talent now and what the projection looks like. And I know there have been so many things that have been said about so many artists, but man, I cannot imagine a time when she starts to actually perform. When she kind of embraces her the kind of aura that I think she can actually put out there, right? There is a coolness to her, right? And like when she dances to her own songs, and I look at those dances, some of them are not like powerful yet, like someone who understands the power that she's got, right? When you're dancing, like you see Beyonce give you a dance, right? And you can see the fire. She doesn't have that fire that I think she can get to yet, right? And that's what gets me excited about her. So many things, so many things. When she begins to, connect with that fire that I think it's in her, her beautiful voice. She's an incredible songwriter for sure. And all of that coming together, man, I cannot wait. And an incredible team that she's got as well. Man, the sky is just is not even, it's gonna be like the stepping stone to where I think she can achieve. She's an incredible artist. Nobody even talked about this problem choke with 1010, right? And this is I don't want to go into my rant about new artists and people recognizing talent when they see it. This is not me giving you a hit single and then giving you an album off that hit single. This is me giving you a hit song. You hear the C finish, right? And you're like, I'm having chills all over my body. And then you give me vision. You give me that incredible song with my goodness, what's his name? With Preston Pablo. You give me an incredible song with Kiss Daniel, right? You give me American Love. You give me Benson with the song with Benson Ole. I'm not telling you I can give you hits. I'm telling you I can be consistent. She is the most consistent new artist, talented new artist out there. Like, I'm not talking about you being able to give me an album that where the producer can make me, or the engineer can give me a good sounding album. I'm telling you that I can be outside of what I can give you. I can stand also on my own with the best of the best, like Qing Madi, like Benson, like Kiss Daniel, and still give you an incredible song. Like, the bar is high. She has set such a high bar at this point that I'm like, that's what makes this next album that she wants to release kind of makes me kind of jittery a little bit. Not because I can't, like she can't get it. It's more of, man, this is a high bar. I know you can, but I mean, I'm not in her mind. I haven't heard the project yet. I'm so excited for her, right? That's what I'm talking about. Consistency. Like, she has a song with CKay titled Your Loss. Incredible song there. Like, she's able to stand on her own. She has a song with Basket Mouth, Cover Me. This is just in the past a year and a half or 2 years. I'm not talking about hit single and giving me an album. I'm not talking about social media. I'm pumping your stuff on social media. Everybody can see you, and then working with celebrities, and that's how we know you. Let your song speak for itself. I have been consistent about that when it comes to new artists. I'm like, let your song speak louder than just what your social media presence is telling me. Don't sell me a bag of tricks. This is talent. Talking about artists that are talented and the projection. This is not even the limit. This is not the limit. This is like, I'm still trying to take off. When it comes to the talents, I'm still trying to take off. I never even reach where I go, they glide. This is me trying to take off. That's what I'm talking about here. That's what I'm talking about. Seeing some crazy videos this week about the most talented artists I've seen this year, man. You guys, people are not paying attention. I can bring out 10 songs from just this year, 10 songs. No new artist can bring out 10 songs to compete with Qing Madi's 10 songs. No new artist can bring out 10 songs. That is it. That concludes it. She just had a song from this is literally her first album. She released the deluxe this year. Like, she released the album late last year, right? And she released the deluxe this year. And since that, she has featured on other people's singles since then. So I'm not talking about an artist that's been here 3 years. So give me another artist that can give me 10 songs. 5, not hers, or not the artist song, featuring that other people have actually featured. Nobody else exists right now with that much talent and that much catalog right now for a new artist. The heavy hitters are calling, they're able to, not necessarily calling, but they want to collaborate because they see the talent. I'm not talking about social media publication, TikTok algorithm thing. I'm talking about talent here. Let the music speak for itself. Damn. I cannot wait for this Qing Madi's album, man. I know it's going to be incredible. It's going to be superb. The projection, so much more. I cannot wait for her to start to perform, for her to really start to perform, because I've seen some of the stage performances. It's not really there, because I think her song, I think she's got it in her. If you can write these songs, right, you can, of course, you can surely connect with the energy behind it and give a performance that can kill, right? And give a performance that can just go along with the song if you can write it, right? And even if she didn't write any of the songs, if you can deliver it that way, it means you connect with, there is something about the song you're able to connect with and deliver it in such a splendid way that I think you can perform it as well. You can still, there's something you need to connect with on the song and deliver. The team needs to get someone who is good at performing, who can help and train. Like, this is not even an insult. Every superstar artist, I'm not talking about Nigeria here, because we're not, outside of the likes of P Square, I don't think we've had any great performers. I haven't seen any performer outside of P Square, right? So if we talk about like performers on stage, the greatest of the greatest that have done it, like the likes of the Beyonce and Rihanna, people on that level, like Chris and Usher, these people have folks they work with, right, who help them. Like, as great Michael Jackson, the moonwalk was actually taught to him by another dancer. So it's not an insult for me to say she needs to get someone that she can be working with, that understands, that can look at her, listen to the music, listen to her as well as what her goals and what her vision is, whatever that is, and just merge the two and help her actually get there, where she can stand on the stage and command it, right? And I think Tyler, as most people have so many, so many backlash for her, she's an incredible performer. She is an incredible performer. She's able to captivate you. She knows how to dance. And this is not just about dancing sexist. This is way more than that. I mean, most people can see through that. Any lady with a good shape can dance a certain way. But it's a different thing when you're able to captivate your audience. That's a different level entirely. And I think she needs to get somebody like that. I think if she's able to connect that, nobody is coming close when she steps on the stage and she's performing her songs. No matter the tempo, fast, slow, mid, whatever it is, she will be killing shit. So I honestly cannot wait, man. I honestly cannot wait. This girl, this lady, I mean, she just turned, 19 or so? This lady is incredible. The trajectory here is not even, nobody comes close. Talent, projection, nobody even comes anywhere close to come close to Qing Madi at this point, man. I just you guys could feel the passion right there, right? Another person with new music this week that I paid attention, caught my attention. So Two-Face released new music this week. See, there are some people in my book that have legendary status, and I'm never here to, whenever they have new music, I'm never gonna come here to analyze and all of those things. I think they've earned the status where I just listen to the song and I'm like, I'm glad you can put out music. And this says nothing about the quality of the music. And I've been consistent about this. You've been listening to this podcast enough. I said the same thing about D'banj when he released this album. I said, honestly, I'm not coming here to analyze this album. He also has that legendary status in my book that I'm not going to analyze his album. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, this, the kind of analysis I give to either singles, new music here, or albums. I'm never going to do any of that with with such an artist, right? So with me, I listened to this song too, Baba, and I saw the snippet of the song released this week, and all that was in my mind was, Baba, I'm glad you're putting out music, man. He is probably one of the greatest songwriters that have ever come out of Nigeria, one of the greatest artists that have ever come out of Nigeria. Like, we cannot start talking about Two-Face here. Like, if you do not know who Baba is, go find out. Like the song will say, "Kuku Kuku Lam." If you don't know who Two-Face is, Kuku Kuku Lam, he has a new song out, actually titled Kuku Kuku Lam. Incredible single. I really actually like it, what he was talking about on the song. He cannot release a single and you're not paying attention, kind of figure out what he's talking about. Even when he's he's talking about regular stuff. He's such an incredible songwriter that you actually want to hear what he has to say, even when he's fooling around or on a single, whatever. He's playing around or joking. You want to get the joke. You want to be part of you want to be part of it. Whatever it is he's singing about, you want to be part of it. So that's what makes an incredible songwriter. It's not about cerebral stuff. It just means you know how to communicate with the audience, right? Whatever way, whatever music you're putting out there, the audience actually wants to hear what you have to say. So even if you're cracking a joke on the single, on the song, the audience wants to be part of the joke. They want to be able to laugh at it as well. They want to be able to get what you're talking about. And he has that legendary status in my book. I actually did like the single. I mean, I don't have much to say about that. Another song that this one is actually a project. This one's going to take me a minute to get through. CKay has an album out titled Emotions. Now, CKay, one of those artists who have come out, who have been probably one of the biggest Nigerian artists in this past decade. Let's look at between 2015 and now. This past decade, he's been one of the biggest Nigerian artists. He's taken he's actually kind of held the flag for Afrobeats. And when we talk about where Afrobeat is today, we cannot take out of the equation how important Love, Wantiti, and Emiliano have been to getting our Afrobeats to the world. Like with the coming up of TikTok and social media and all of that, I mean, and the pandemic period and all of that, 2020, 2021, I mean, CKay, you could not put on your social media and CKay wasn't everywhere. So, I mean, that cannot be taken from him. One of the biggest Afrobeat artists we've had in the past decade, in the past 5 years, 10 years. So he released an album titled Emotions. This must have been last week? Yeah, last week. And I actually didn't get to it because I had not listened to it, and I wasn't in a hurry to listen to it. to be honest with you. And the thing is, before this album was released, I was speaking with Sam, who is the founder of Afrocritic media company. And we're on his space together. Towards the end of the space, he was asking me, CKay is going to release an album. What is it going to be like? And some of the things I mentioned there are kind of evident in this album. So what did I say about what to expect? I think so vocally, CKay sings nasally, like he sings from his nose, right? From like nasal singing. That's what it's called. Like they went, yeah. That all that is nasal. I cannot imitate him. I don't know how he does it. It's actually unique to him. He's able to do it. Now, for someone who have been involved in music, singing, choir, and all of that, usually you infuse that nasal to maybe you're trying to hit a high key, or you're trying to put a certain emotion in the song. It's not necessarily how you sing. It's kind of one of the things you add, right? It's kind of like the spice. It's not the main dish if you want to, if you want to be like recognized like a singer and all of that. But he's been able to do it and do it well. I mean, he's one of, like I said, one of the biggest artists out there. The problem with that is this: if you're going to sing that way, you need to then be, what's the word I'm looking for? You need to be flavorful. You need to add flavor. There has to be something dynamic about how you do it, right? And that's where the problem with this album Emotions is. 12 songs, 35 minutes. This song, in few words, felt like a long playlist, a long so-fi playlist that almost put me to bed. Non-inspiring, on nothing, I don't want to say spectacular, nothing exciting, nothing inspiring. It was just dull. It was just dull. And all I could think of while listening to this album is, how is it that we're as an industry, Afrobeats, Nigerian music industry, we're still frowning about using songwriters? Because I'm saying to myself that if there is no way anyone that has been in music for any reasonable period of time listened to this album and felt this was okay, I don't know how that was possible. I could not listen to him sing that style of singing. Not even, let's even take about whether, what he was singing about, whatever. It was just hard to listen to that specific style of singing for 35 minutes. You've got to do something, my bro. And let me say to people real quick, songwriting is not just about the words. Incredible songwriters are also great with putting melodies together. They can help you add some sort of dynamic feel to your music, to your song, so that it doesn't sound, it doesn't sound eventually like annoying, like I don't want to hear this anymore. And the thing is, there are other artists that have very distinct voices as well, like he does. But I don't feel like that for Akon. Akon has a distinct voice as well. Not the style of singing. He's got a distinct voice, just as CKay does. But I don't listen to Akon and I'm like, oh my God, I want to turn this off, or what is this? What is he doing? T-Pain also has a very unique voice, but you don't get that. His music doesn't instill the same emotions I'm having right now when I listen to CKay. We need to start getting serious about using serious songwriters. Like, I'm not saying go find somebody out of the street to help you write a song. It's not just the words that are being spoken. It's someone that can help you produce an album. Like, someone that can help you listen to a song and tell you, you cannot have 10, 12 songs of this. The casual listener, I mean, I don't know what other people feel. I haven't seen what the general I feel of the song is from people, right? But my ears are too trained for me to listen to this and just be like, okay, I cannot let this go. We need to do better. This is, and I think this is way beyond just CKay. As the industry, we need to do better. And I just want to quickly get off CKay here because this album wasn't it. It just felt, again, like a long so-fi playlist I think, and that's even an insult to the SoFi playlist, because those ones kind of, they get you in a certain, they calm you, and you're able to either read, for people who need music and all of that to read. But this was even below that, because there's a dynamism to the playlist will have different artists, different the songs will have different texture, and even the singing will have different styles and all of that, right? It's not just one artist, right, giving you even if the artists know what they're doing, they can deliver. But it was like chalk. It's like a nail on how did they say? It's like nail on a wall. You see that sound? That was what this album felt like to me. And I kind of, some of those songs I just had to listen, because I needed to be able to listen to the full thing and then give you my take on it, right? I needed to be informed enough and not just come out and give some, coming from ignorant about the full scope of the album, right? I needed to listen to the whole thing. And I tried, and I did, and it was, nothing caught my attention. Even like just like sonically, even on the, let's say, on the music side, like I just hear a good melody, I'm like, ooh, what is that? Nothing. Like, there are times when the songs, the music is able to catch your attention. Like I remember this song from 2020, or during the pandemic, that a lot of people were listening to. I don't know if you guys remember this song by this guy called CKay, the song titled Whoopty. If you guys remember that oof. I don't know if you guys remember that song from the pandemic that everyone was dancing to. They got the rapper from New York, his name is CKay. That is what I'm talking about. Outside of his rap, the music itself, just the instrumentals, catches you. The instrumental alone just, gets your attention. Not even that did not happen on this album, man. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm wondering, how did you even listen to any of this? None of this were it was just so chalk on the wall. His delivery for me, his voice, it was just screeching. Wasn't good enough, man. Wasn't good enough. I don't know where he goes from here. And he released an album. What was it? Just last year as well? Sad Romance, just as uninspiring as well. I don't think there was any song in that album as well that I was like, maybe I will come back to. Nothing. Okay, I think there was maybe you on that, but outside of that, man, I was like, nothing. And let me also say this: if the numbers on this album is where he rests his head on as a metric for success, then he's not as smart as I think he is. And the team, whoever is around him, is not as smart as I think they are. If 6 months from now, they look at the numbers and that is the metric for success on this album, then they're not as smart as I think they are. He's not putting out good music. That is the conclusion of the matter. Right now, CKay is not putting out good music. And the thing is, I don't want to believe nobody in his circle knows that right now. He is not putting out good music. And I have mentioned this, I've been saying this, I think, for the past 2 weeks now. Being able to put slow music together and get a producer that can give you a slow beat doesn't guarantee a song being good. I know this industry goes head over heels over a slow song, and you being able to just put together a melody and drop a song as the beginning and the end of great music. It is not. This album by CKay, Emotions, is the poster child of what I've been talking about the past 2 weeks. putting together slow music and you being able to sing a certain way, slow and whatever style of music your voice is, being able to do it doesn't guarantee good music. His is even worse because there is no dynamism to what to his delivery as well. Like I've mentioned before. And he's the second artist this year that have delivered on this style, and it's been like, this thing sounds good. Same with let me even mention the name. Same with the Means album. And I know so many people are going to criticize CKay because the way the industry is, he doesn't have as many stands to come out there to defend him. If you say Means had an incredible album and you shit on CKay's album, then you're a hypocrite and you're ignorant. You should not be speaking about music. You should not be speaking about music. Because CKay is a better singer than Means is. They both give you the same, the music is produced the same. Slow music, give you pads, yeah, give you somewhere. Nothing stands out. Because all the great things people are saying about Means, there is no specific thing people are telling me. They say, oh no, he knows how to sing. He knows how to. What is this thing about? Sing emo, Afro emo, singing about I'm depressed and I'm this. Is that the bar now? Is that the bar? I know so many people are gonna shit on this album, and rightfully so. It's not a good one. He's not dropping good music. But then the same people are the ones that were shouting a few weeks ago about the Means album. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that because this even goes a better way. This is a more produced, this is a well-produced, they're probably on the same level, I would say, in production. Probably on the same level. Maybe the Means album is just a little bit above in the production because some of the melodies on those songs were actually good, right? But generally, as a body of work, nothing close. Both of them are just as, they tell me nothing about the artist. But with CKay, because he's a more established artist, I can tell you that he's not delivering good music. Second album. The second album that I can say I'm not getting anything. But with Means, because he's a new artist, I can tell you nothing. I know absolutely nothing about him moving forward. This tells me nothing about his future, where I think the projection is because he can come out with the second album and it's nothing like this. Because they know this is not going to sell you anything. If you remove the War song out of that album, what was the anticipation to this album? Right? Why are we paying attention to Means? If there was no War remix, why are we paying attention? Why are we talking about him? He hasn't done anything outside of that since he released that single. That tells me that the trajectory for this artist is really good. I mean, I can point to this and this. He's been able to do this and this, and say, another 3 years, this is going to be crazy. Nothing. Has he featured on another song or several songs that we can say, his delivery on this song? I'm not talking about verse. I'm saying his delivery on this song and the way he carried himself in the song and the way he carried the song tells me, I'm excited about his talent and where he can go from here. He hasn't done any of that. What we all talk about is he released a song 2 years ago or a year, whatever change ago. So if you are clowning to this CKay's album, and you have great reviews of Means, then you're a hypocrite. I don't even want to hear anything you have to say because they're in the same ballpark. They're in the same ballpark. And that leads me to the next thing I want to talk about that I have written down here on my note that I want to get to. And I've touched a little bit on it on CKay, touched a little bit on it when talking about Tubaba. Afrobeats, this industry, if we don't get our shit together in the next 5-10 years, the next decade, this next block of decade, starting 2025, when it comes to producing good music, like you just know how to write, like songwriting, not even producing good music. I beg your pardon. When it comes to songwriting, if we don't get our shit right, a lot of artists are going to get irrelevant really soon. 80% of this industry is going to become irrelevant in the next decade if they don't start doing something about their ability to write songs, like songwriting. And just hold it there. I mentioned a few minutes ago, the songwriting is beyond just able to put lyrics together. It's beyond you being able to write a song. It's you being able to also talking about the melodies. That's also part of songwriting. For example, if an artist works into this, into this room I'm in now, they say, Tiae, you're a songwriter. Let's work on a song together. Blah blah blah. And I'm getting an idea like. That is part of songwriting. Coming together, putting the melodies together is part of songwriting. The thing is, whenever this conversation I had on the internet and you mention song, because it has the writing there, people just think it's about just writing the song. Anybody can put songs together. Who can put together the right melody? In my book, one of the greatest songs ever written in the past 20 years is the song by Justin Bieber titled Baby. Guys, there was nothing special. Baby, 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 oh, baby, thought you will always be mine. None of those words are extraordinary. None of those words are. These are words we use every day. I am sure at some point, if you're an adult, you've probably said those words. You've said baby a million times. But who is able to put together the song Baby, Baby, Baby and the melodies that way, where tons and millions of people were repeating that baby, 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 that is at the core of it what songwriting is about. It's not just about putting plenty of words together or being able to come up with sophisticated words. It is you being able to connect with the audience as well. Finding the right melodies to connect with the audience. A video is going viral this week about one of the songs that a songwriter wrote for Beyonce. And he said, wrote for Rihanna, I beg your pardon. And he was saying how he came up with that song was he took all the titles of all the greatest songs, I think in the 50s or something like that, a long time ago, and put them together. The title of the songs from a different era. And that was how he was able to put the song together for Rihanna. That is what I'm talking about when I say songwriting. You're able to, and these songs were not, the words were not something extraordinary. Right? Let me even bring it home. Do Me, I think, is one of the greatest songs ever written in this industry. Whether that song became a hit or not, for me, that song is one of the greatest songs ever written. You could do me, do me, do me, do me, do me, do me, do me. How? That is what I'm talking about. You can be as simple as baby, 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 and do me, do me, do me, oh, right? And you can also be as sophisticated as any of like Two-Face songs. Like if love was a crime, then I want to be wanted. The verse of that song is incredible, because you're saying the songs as well, and you're like, you can connect with it. If Love Was a Crime by Two-Face, one of the greatest songs ever written as well. But we are now at a time, I can specifically now at this moment, where people are singing and nothing connects. And I'm not making a general to everybody. This is not to everybody, right? This is majority of the industry. People are struggling. People are struggling. And that's why there's so much focus on, let me get the right beats. Let me get the right producers. And now producers are inflating their prices and becoming unaffordable. Not even unaffordable for like upcoming people, unaffordable for like just the average artist that exists today. These producers are charging an arm and a leg today because there's so much demand for them. That's where the focus is today. Everybody wants that. It's the producer that can get me the hit single. But See Finish didn't have the greatest producer on the back end. I mean, we're talking about CKay with all the criticism I have about him. Love Wanting, as simple as that song is a beautifully written song that can connect. I mean, we talk about Burna. People think songwriting is like something has to be complex. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like, my goodness, what the freaking heck is that? That is beautiful. What are we talking about here? I can go on giving you examples upon examples, but what I'm saying is a lot of people's music today are not connecting with the audience. I'm not saying you necessarily need a song to your song will become a mega hit if it just connects with the audience. Necessarily doesn't have to. I just talk about Qing Madi's song with 1010 titled Problem Choke. I mean, with everything going on in the country, like that song basically connects to it, and it doesn't have to say, hey, I'm suffering, or hunger, or guinea corn, T-pain. It doesn't have to mention any of those things. Right? But it's beautifully put together. And it's encouraging people as well. The same thing, encouraging people to, they can get out of the problems, all of that. But it doesn't have to be the biggest TikTok song. That's what I'm talking about, songwriting. I'm not saying it necessarily has to be a hit. People's songs are not connecting with the audience. And let me be clear, that you didn't have a hit song doesn't mean it necessarily connects with it. Like, you can say Ozeba on your song. How many we're not going to be talking about. It's a good song for the moment. We all recognize what that is. And I can see that, right? But I'm saying majority of the artists today are not connecting. You guys will have to find a way. You have to use songwriters. I don't know where you are going to find them, because and let me also say this. Putting so much expectation on the artists as well to be songwriters is not realistic. Some people have great voices but are not the greatest songwriters. Some people have can write songs, but they're not the greatest performers. Like Chris Brown said in an interview a while back. He said, yeah, I use songwriters, but how many people can sing it like me? How many of them can perform it like me? Artists, especially our Nigerian artists, need to have that same mentality. You are the artist for a reason. You have people like fans and all of that for a reason. If everybody could do it like you would not be the superstar that you are. Or people would not be investing in your music. And now I'm talking mostly about just the average artist, because I know this is a different ballgame for new artists and all of that. But at the same time, I mean, you guys need to find a way to connect with the audience as well. But I mean, you still have to be true to yourself now. Artists are not connecting, man. They're not connecting. I'm listening to a lot of new music and I'm like, y'all are just singing about the same thing, using the same lamba. There's no new lamba serve out there that you can say. There's no new lamba. Even the lamba, everybody's just recycling the same thing, using the same producers, the same beats. Everyone is trying to find something. And they're saying, oh, there was no hits, there was no global hits this year. Man, people just want to trigger me to get involved. Nah. We're gonna see what happens next year when all the artists actually put out music, right? Not all the artists, but certain artists put out music, because that's what they're trying to say. Because certain artists didn't put out music this year, then I mean, nobody's song actually meets the definition of a hit. Or global hits is what defines the success of an industry. A few weeks ago, we're talking about Tyler's album, and someone mentioned on the space that I was that she used some of the songwriters, or if not all, or majority of the songwriters that Wizkid used on the album that had Essence on it. And he used that Tyler used majority of some of those songwriters on her self-titled album Tyler. And I'm like, wow, there is someone smart out there. There is someone incredibly smart out there. And you guys know, in my book, she's got the best album this year. Like, I don't know how that is even in conversation. I think Tyler's album is the best album this year. Like, no doubt. Like, I can't think of anybody with a better album on the continent, at least pop album contemporary on the continent, than Tyler. And you from the songs you can, because I didn't even know that she used some of the songwriters from Wizkid's album, the previous album. And I was like, well, this was beautiful music. Just outside of her being able to, her ability to sing and all of that, this was a beautiful album to listen to. The melodies in the song, the melodies of these songs was just beautiful. That even before she starts to sing, and some of them, you can as she's singing, the melodies just keep you there. Before you even get to what she's actually singing about and how great her voice is, the melody of the song just keeps you. You want to hear it. And you're carried away by the melody before you pay attention to, what she's singing, or her voice is really good. Long and short, Afrobeat is in a very delicate decade, I think. And if people don't start finding a way to involve songwriters in their music, a lot of them are going to wither. There is no space. A lot of people are going to be confused. They're going to be stuck because they can't get anything out. If it's to collaborate with other artists that are great songwriters, other artists that are able to write. So I don't know how nobody has worked with Buju yet, who is right now he will go down as one of the greatest songwriters to ever come out of Nigeria. He's right now one of the best. And my mind cannot fathom how nobody has worked with him yet. My mind, I just don't know how. In other industries, we know it's not news that Chris Brown wrote a lot of Rihanna songs. He wrote a lot of Rihanna songs. And this is, it doesn't take away from Rihanna's greatness, talent, splendor, majesty. It takes nothing away from her. Beyonce has so many people's credits on her albums. It doesn't take away from who Beyonce is. Chris Brown has tons of writers. T-Pain has written for he said in an album, in an interview, that he has written for country artists he can't put his name there because of racism and all of that. He has written for other people as well because they know how great of a songwriter he is. It boggles my mind that Nigerian artists are not collaborating today. How is it that you are not collaborating? That is what music is about. The rappers today are sampling songs from way back, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. It's all about collaboration. But it's like our own artists are just, I don't know what is hindering. If you don't collaborate, you die off. You die off. I don't know how. I think I know the reason why. And I'm wondering, I'm looking at the time now. Do I really want to go into it this week? We'll probably go into it next week. Let's go into it next week. The reason why I actually think, the reason why I think our artists are not collaborating, and it's killing the industry. It's killing the industry. And I think the answer to that is simple, but we'll talk about it next week. I promise. We'll talk about it next week. And it's the hip hop influence on the industry. That's basically it. The hip hop influence on this industry is killing this industry. Music is about collaboration. At the basic, you have the guitar, you have the piano, you have the drums, you have everything comes together, gives you music. The lyrics, all of that gives you music. It's all about collaboration. At its basic, like at its simplest form, like definition. Our artists are not collaborating. We are allowing the internet define how we make music. Right? We're allowing the internet decide that. Because now they're looking at who's got the best verse. Like, who gives a damn? Like, that is not a conversation that is even happening anywhere, like in any other industry, outside of rap, any other genre. It's not happening. Nobody gives a damn about whose verse hits more on any pop music. Nobody's talking about that. In R&B, it's not like about, oh, that person's verse was better than that. It's like, who killed it vocally, man? That's what we're talking about. It's about using, like, country music is known for that. Tons and tons of songwriters. The industry, one of the foundations of country music today, one of the things that keeps it alive is because there's a constant building and grooming of songwriters to supply the industry. You need to have songwriters constantly on. You go to any country artist, these people they're songwriters involved all the time. And as some people who don't know country music, the idea of country music is like, there's a tendency, and country music can be very simple. Like the delivery of it can be very simple. You have your guitar, you sound a certain, like there's a tendency, but because there's so much involved in the music that you can listen to 20 artists, and you there is something that makes each one so distinct that you don't get bored. You don't get bored because songwriters are involved to make sure that they don't sound all worn out. There's a constant, in and out, songwriters building, getting involved in the industry. And that's just one genre that has a tendency of sounding a certain way. But songwriters are involved. I think very soon we're going to get to a point, because and also because this genre is still very new, not too many music has been put out there. And I know as many people say, oh, so much music. Not enough music has been put out there compared to other genres like rap, R&B, and all of that. Not too many music have been, because if enough music has been put out there, you would have to involve other artists so that you don't repeat, or you don't just sound like every other artist out there, or some artist from 10 years ago, because people will catch it. But now it's like every artist that is coming out is relatively new over here, and you can get away with, certain things. But when you are in an industry that is 50 years old, bro, you have to work to make sure you are sounding distinct, because everything that can be sung about has been sung about. Everything that can be said has been said. So if you're coming in, you better come in right. You better come in correct. I can't wait for us to talk about this influence of hip hop on Afrobeats next week. We definitely will get to it. Yeah, we'll definitely get to it. Another thing that I'm working on, let me just give you guys the updates as well. I'm looking to have someone join me on the show very soon. I don't want to give his name out yet. He's not a celebrity, trust me. He's not an artist or anything. He's someone who is also in this music space that I have been paying attention to for a while. I actually love his work and his content. I'm gonna figure out somehow to make it possible, but I will give you more update as the time gets close. If we're able to secure him joining on the show, for sure I will let you guys know. But just know that I wouldn't bring anyone on this space or into this space that I don't someone who I don't think follows our our mission and the vision here, where it is all about the music, no stands here. So whoever I'm bringing in for sure is someone who I've been listening to long enough, I know can give kind of critical takes and non-biased takes on general like music and when it comes to the Nigerian music industry. So you guys need to listen and pay attention. I'm going to make it happen real soon. I'm still thinking, I haven't even reached out to them yet, but I'm still thinking about it. But it's something I know I want to do. But I just want to pay attention more, see, take a look at his content. And then when I eventually, reach out to him, I know what we want to talk about. And so it can be productive as well. So we just come here and just this spit for inside mic, you get that kind of thing. So thank you very much for joining me on the show today. As always, it's a pleasure to have you join me. It's a pleasure. An hour every week. You guys paying attention and listening. I'm sitting on the back end, so thank you very much. And the countries you guys are listening from, I saw one this week from Australia. Shout out to you. Someone again, I can't remember the country right now. Somewhere in Europe, but thank you very much. Please. You guys cannot understand. I really do appreciate your time. So please, once again, follow on YouTube, subscribe. That's the word, on YouTube. Share with your friends as well. Follow me on X, on Twitter is Tiae Sound. That's Tiae Sound on Twitter, as well as at No Stand Pod. Thank you once again. As always, please don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Until next week, stay blessed.